Thank you for watching another video. I don't want to welcome anyone back to my channel, but if you are a returning subscriber, thank you for supporting me and watching all of my videos and helping me grow in my up and coming new YouTube channel. And if you are a returning viewer and you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting on? Go ahead and subscribe. Go ahead and click that button down below and click the bell right next to it. So that way you can be notified of every video that I post here and moving forward in the future. Because if you are here again, obviously you like what you see. So go ahead and subscribe. Or you just like what I'm producing. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's more so what it is. But go ahead and subscribe. And I'm gonna give you 5 seconds to go ahead and do it, all right? And don't take too long because we waiting on you. We waiting on you. Go ahead and join the team. So let's go ahead and get your little 5 seconds. You did it yet? All right. Welcome to the family, okay? Welcome to the family. Thank you for finally subscribing. I know you just gotta test the waters out with just a little bit, but you know, you like it, you like it. You know you like it, you know you like it. All right, and if you're new and this is your first time stepping onto my channel and clicking on my picture, thank you for doing so, because obviously you wanna know the juicy details on what the description says down below. And guess what? I'm gonna be giving you those juicy details, all right? I'm gonna be giving what you want. I'm gonna give you what you want, okay? Judging by the title, I know you know what this video is about. So I wanna start off saying this video is not going to be a bash session about the military, about the Air Force, and about the current events that are going on today. This is not what this video is going to be about. So if you clicked on it hoping to get some negativity, then you might as well go ahead and finish watching the video, but understand that this is not what this video is about. It's not a bad session. It's simply going to be the pros and cons of being a minority in today's military during the Black Lives Matter movement. That's what this video is about. Not to bash anyone or anything or any group or organization, okay? So, yeah, you're not gonna get no slander from me. Not today or any day. That's not happening. It's not happening. We're not doing that. Nope. Because we're positive over here. We're positive butterflies over here. All right. So this video is going to be made in regards to my personal opinion, my personal experiences, and if you haven't heard already, it's just personal, okay? Keyword, personal. So don't take offense to anything that I'm saying. If you have not experienced this, I am glad that you haven't experienced it. You know, everyone's experiences are going to be completely different because everybody is different. Everyone's personality is different. So things happen to people differently. But this is just what happened to me. So let's get right into the video. Also, if you see me looking down sometimes, every now and again, it's because I do have my tips and things that I want to make sure that I hit as I'm going through the topics of this video. So yeah, just ignore that if I do look down. But just know that I'm talking to you. I'm here for you. I'm giving you all the juicy details. Okay. All right, so let's get started. The pros of being a minority in today's military during the Black Lives Matter movement is the fact that I personally feel as though people are actually being nicer to me. And let me clarify a little. That's not to say that they were being mean to me before. Like, you know, what are we in grade school? Are you being mean to me? Like, no. I'm not saying that no one has been mean to me before, but I am noticing that co-workers of other races are going out of their way to speak to me about my day and how I'm doing, checking in with me, and even following up and making sure that, you know, like maybe a few days later, hey, are you still good? Are you still doing all right? And to be quite honest with you, was that something that was going on before? Yeah, but maybe not so prominent before. And now it's definitely like, oh, let's check on the minorities. I hate to say it like that, but that's kind of like what it is. But it's just kind of like, let's check on the minorities. Let's make sure that they're okay. Make sure they're good in this time. Let's be that support. Let's, let's offer help if they need it. And I guess now they're just more conscientious on what's going on and how it's affecting us as minorities. And I can appreciate that. I can respect that. And they're essentially just trying to stay connected to us and stay engaged, because obviously they don't really know what we're going through or how it's emotionally or mentally affecting us. So they just want to be there to provide that support. And I completely appreciate that. And I thank you all for being there and to provide that support. If you are watching my channel, thank you. Now say it again to your face. Another pro is, now that everything is going on and everything is mainstream and all over like social media and in the news media, like some co-workers are now understanding what it's like to be Black. Yes, they're understanding what it's like to be Black. And with that understanding, they're taking it outside of the workplace and letting us have meetings and open discussions so we can share our experiences on racism and being racially profiled and stereotyped and being judged and discriminated against because of our color and not the content of our character. That's something that should have been done already. Like, unfortunately now, due to unfortunate events, I'm starting to see how reactive people are versus proactive. But you gotta take the little bit that you can as you get it. And eventually we'll get to a point where like it's fixed somewhat, because it will never be completely fixed or completely gone. Racism will never be completely gone, but at least embrace the changes that are being made as they go on. But one thing I can honestly say, even though we share our stories and share our experiences, obviously they don't necessarily understand it, or some people may not necessarily understand it because they haven't went through it. However, that doesn't stop them from trying to understand. And like I said, I appreciate the understanding, or at least trying to put yourself in my shoes to find out how I've been racially profiled, how I've been stereotyped, and so forth. Because what most people don't understand or don't realize is the fact that it's not even really a thought in most of their minds and other races' minds that racism still exists, because they don't go through it. They don't really experience that. So they're not really thinking that, oh,
racism still exists? What?
Like, yes, racism still exists. Just because you don't go through it, don't means that it's not happening, And like sometimes, it's just like that saying, if you go through it, you grow through it. But with most people, they don't go through it, so they don't know any better. But they're still trying to understand. Another pro that can kind of be a con. So I don't know how to take this one. But I kind of consider it to be a pro because it's benefiting me in a sense. But another pro is being Black in this day and age right now, with everything that's going on, kind of exposes the low-key racist. And I'm not saying that silence means racist, like that's that straight that. Like, I'm not saying that. But silence, just like in most relationships, if you don't know, okay? I don't know how y'all do in y'all relationships, but silence is louder than words. It's louder than words and actually speaking up. And that says a lot. And I do this thing where I kind of like to pick people's brains a little bit to see where their head is at, to see how they think, or, what their thought process is on everything that's going on. But, you get some feedback and you get others, but then you'll get none at all. And it's just kind of like,
Why not?
So, and then like I said, the people that are giving the feedback, you are able to kind of see how they think, how they process it. See not what side that they're on, but you can kind of like see what side they on. But, you know, it's all good. It's all good. It's nothing but love. It's nothing but love. But with knowing who's for me and knowing their thought process on the situations that are happening today, like, it lets me know that not once everything dies down, I don't want to say it like that, but once everything kind of like simmers down just a little bit, or it's not that much of a mainstream topic, like right in your face, like topic, then I know how to move around these people, these low-key racists. Like you learn how to move around them. So that's why I considered it a pro, because in my favor, I know how to move around you. And with that last pro, it brings me to my first con. And my first con is I've noticed some people have been avoiding me to avoid having to talk about the racial issues that are going on today. And I know that seems like really strange, but like people legit have been avoiding me. Like when I'm walking down the hall, like they're like, they just turn the other way. And I'm just kind of like, oh, okay, well, good morning to you too. Yeah. But obviously this is a very uncomfortable topic to discuss for anybody. But like, let's be real about it. How uncomfortable do you think it is to be a Black woman and having to combat stereotypes of being a Black woman? Like, how uncomfortable is that? How uncomfortable of being like having to partake in those awkwardly, racially discriminated conversations where, you know, people try to say things that are technically racially insulting, but they try to do it to connect with you in this weird, awkward way. Yeah, that's uncomfortable for us. I personally have been stereotyped as a typical Black woman. And if you don't know what a typical Black woman is, let me educate you, okay? So Wikipedia states that Black women are depicted as welfare queens, and as angry Black women who are loud, aggressive, and demanding and uncivilized. Yep. Loud, aggressive, demanding, and uncivilized. Let's look up the inverse results. Stand by. Gotta get my phone for this one. So the inverse results of stereotypes from Black women, so white women, that would be the inverse result. It states that stereotypes of white people include the idea that they are extremely self-involved, uneducated about people other than themselves, and are unable to understand the complicated ways in which people who are not white survive. Nothing really about them personally, but just about how they interpret and deal with others, right? Okay.
Are you following me now?
I've tried this experiment where I went to work for a few days with high energy, being this high social butterfly that I naturally am. And then the next day I go to work being less energetic and less social. Mind you now, I'm not saying that I wasn't energetic and I'm not saying that I wasn't social, just less than I was the previous days. And I can't make this up, okay? Let me just say that I cannot make this up. I literally had someone come up to me and the first thing they said to me was,
"Why are you angry?"
What? Because I'm a little bit quieter today? Like, do I always have to be on 100 every day? Every day, always on 100. And then he was just like, "Why are you so angry?" I said, "I'm not angry." He was like, "Dang, why you gotta be so aggressive?" I was so shocked. That was actually the first time that I've experienced anything like that. Like, literally, me defending myself, I'm aggressive. Being outspoken, you have an attitude. I just don't understand that. Like, how can me speaking up and speaking out about things that are affecting me or things that may be wrong cause me to be aggressive and have an attitude? Why is it that we have to have those connotations placed on us that we have attitudes just because we're Black women? That is just so ridiculous to me. That's legit ridiculous to me. So with that being said, discussing racial profiling and stereotypes is not easy because sometimes people don't want to face the truth because it gives them the front row seats on how they could have possibly been stereotyping others. And that's just straight facts for you. The second con is people are actually pretending like nothing is even happening. It's like we're living in two different worlds. Like, and I know y'all understand what I mean when I say we living in two different worlds. That's just like what that girl told Sarah on Save the Last Dance. Like, that's in your world. Like, this is my world, you know? And like I said, it sucks to say this, but we gotta face the reality of it all. That's honestly how it feels. And it feels to me like they're acting like it's not even happening. Some people are acting like it's not even happening, like we're living in two different worlds. And for example, like when things happen in politics, because at work we have a TV in the lobby or waiting room area, and you know, normally the most generic thing to do in most waiting rooms or lobby areas in any business really is they have the news on. That's like the most generic thing to do, have the news on. And one thing that I definitely noticed is the fact that when things were happening in the world involving like politics and the missile strikes and this and that, it was on the news and we were watching it. Everyone was watching it, and everything was all fine. We were good to watch that. But with everything that's happening now in current events and all of those things being placed on the news, y'all, we was asked to change the channel and to not have it on the news so much because of everything that was going on.
Oh, why though? News is news, right?
Why? Why must we change the channel on the things that are really happening, the things that people need to see? Why? The news is the news no matter what is being shown or displayed. And I just feel as though like it's the truth. It's our truth. This is what we're living in today. It's our truth. Let it be displayed. Put it on Front Street. It's already on Front Street on the news media and on social media. It's not like people are oblivious to what's currently going on. So why must we hide it? What are we hiding? The truth? Nah. That's not what we're about to do. And that's why I honestly feel as though this is like a major con for me as well. The third con is, and this is something that really shouldn't be discussed at work, but like I said, you know, we're humans. We talk about stuff. But even though we watch, speak, and listen to everything that's going on, people still do not understand why minorities are outraged. And that really irks my nerve. Like, it definitely irks my nerve because it's just kind of like, what are your values? Like, what do you think is right? Like, how can you not understand why humans are upset about injustice? What is there not to be upset over? And I can't wrap my mind around it. I had a coworker say to me that they understand why people are upset and angry, but why not be peaceful? Why destroy businesses? So you know I had to educate them a little bit, right? You just know I had to do that, right? Okay. Step into my office and close the door behind you, okay? Let's have a chat. You asked for a peaceful protest, right? Okay, this is what your request is, right? Okay, well, what if I told you that after every event that occurred that had some type of injustice within it, there has been protests after every event, after every police brutality, there has been peaceful protests. So peaceful that obviously you didn't even know about it. This is the first one, you think, huh? You think this is the first one? Nah. This is not the first protest. This is after many protests. which is why people are outraged. Do you not get that? Honestly, what is not to get? Like, what is not to get? Like, I just don't understand. I just don't understand. I had to educate because sometimes, ignorance is not knowing. And a lot of people are ignorant to the fact that there have been peaceful protests after every injustice, after every police brutality, after every event that had occurred. And they just don't realize it because we were just that peaceful. It's time to make some noise to make a change, because guess what? Obviously, the squeaky wheel gets the noise, so we about to squeak because change needs to happen. The last con on being a Black minority in today's military during the Black Lives Matter movement is morals versus ethics. Although this con in itself is self-explanatory, I'm going to explain it a little bit further. Just a little bit. If you don't know what your morals or ethics are, morals are what you personally feel is right or wrong, and ethics is what is legally right or wrong. Okay? So those are your morals and your ethics. And obviously, being a Black military member with everything that's going on today, morally, we want to be able to stand by our people and stand up for what is right and speak out against racism, being racially profiled, stereotyped, discriminated. Like, we want to be able to do this and do all of this and protest, which we can protest. There are specific rules and guidelines that we have to abide by in order to make that achievable for us.
Like, we can't be in uniform when protesting. It has to be a peaceful protest. We can't engage in riots or do anything too bad. If it's
everything else we can't partake in. But what we ethically cannot do is, like I said, protest while in uniform, partake in any of those physical riots and destruction of property. We can't partake in those things as military members. And I'm not sure if any of y'all seen the video where Keke Palmer was talking to a soldier. I don't know if he was Army or Air Force. I don't remember what branch of service he was in. But she was basically trying to get him to leave his post. And a post is just where you a spot or location that you have to guard or man. And she wanted him to leave his post and walk with them, march with them, stand with them. And I understand she had good intentions, but execution was wrong. Execution was definitely wrong, because although morally he may have wanted to do just that, walk with them, stand with them, protest with them, with him being in uniform and on duty at that, he was literally clocked in. He can't do that. We can't do that. And obviously we knew about this, and we know, the military members, we know that once we sign those dotted lines, there are rules and regulations that we have to abide by and follow by, or it can be charged against us in the court of law. So yeah, we can't do that. All of that we can't do. But unfortunately, sometimes these morals versus ethics, that conflict of interest can really be detrimental mentally for a lot of people. Some people are really battling with themselves, who they are and what they stand for. It's kind of like having an identity crisis because they want to be able to stand but know that they can't because of their job and their duty, and then they're having to determine or figure out whether or not the job or duty is worth more than their character. And that's a tough situation to be in. And unfortunately, I'm upset that we actually have to be in that situation, but honestly, that's the world that we live in today, right now, and that is what our job description entails. This is what we signed up for, and that's just what we have to do. But that was my last pro and con for this video. As you can see, it wasn't a bad session. It was just my personal experience, and that's all that it is. My personal experience, my personal opinion. Nothing more, nothing less, okay? You can't fault me for my feelings. You can't get offended for my feelings. Well, I guess some people will still get offended because that's just people. You know, my friend told me yesterday, like, an opinion is just like a booty hole. Everyone got one. I don't know if y'all heard that saying before, but it's just so like gruesome, but it's true. Opinion is like a booty hole and everyone got one. And you know, obviously there might be some trolls down in the comments on this video, and that's fine. If you want to troll, that's fine. But just honestly know and understand that your comment is just going to honestly boost my video up, and it's going to, you know, help it get noticed more if you leave a lot of comments, whether it's good or bad. So do as you see fit. I can use the exposure. But like I said, this is not a bashing video. This is just my personal feelings, my personal thoughts of the experiences I'm going through, what's going on currently today. I am actually planning on hosting kind of like a Q&A, open discussion with me and some other military personnel to get multiple perspectives on their experiences on racism in the military and racism in the military, so you guys can see their views and this video not just be completely biased to just me and my personal views. So stay tuned for that part 2, because it's going down in these streets. Okay? Okay, let me stop. I can't dance. But you know, you guys are gonna be pretty surprised on what's gonna be discussed and what's gonna be talked about. So I'm excited for that, and I'm excited to show you guys and let you guys see it for yourself. So with that being said, I'm done with the video. And thank you guys. Have a good day. Bye.